So I have a message that I need to get out. And it's such a hard message. I feel this so deeply for my life, or how my life used to be. And I feel so deeply for the people who still carry this pain in their life. Today, I spent my whole morning feeling like dog shit. I slept a full night's sleep, probably got 11 hours, but I woke up exhausted. How does a person sleep 11 hours and wake up exhausted? I have asked myself this question most days of my life. But I come to the realization that I'm chained. I have been chained to my life. I've been chained to the programming my life has put on me. I'm chained to things that happened in my past life, and I feel this majorly as I go through this process of releasing not only this life's chains, but every life I've had changed. And I know some of you are out there thinking, you don't believe in reincarnation and coming back and, doing the lessons that we didn't learn in the last life in this life. But that's what the soul's evolution is, right? It's life after life. We come back hoping to better our soul's evolution so that each life that we come into, we don't have to work as hard. We don't have to live so hard. We don't have to carry the chains of our life so hard. And today I just felt this mounting of emotions because I've broken through a lot of chains in my life. I really have. I've spent my life running through hurdles, leaps, chains, breaking myself free from family members that have only wanted to hold a thumb over my life. Only wanted me to believe a certain belief and not to feel into my own self, who she was, who she wanted to be. I lived in the shadow of my mother. I lived in the shadow of my father. I lived in the shadow of my brother and sister. And I lived in the shadow of school, of friends. My life was just pure darkness for most of my life. And a lot of you know me and have been like, that doesn't make any sense because she's always been so positive. She's always been that person who pushed me along in my way. But that's the thing. I was chained to the program that I learned from my parents, from my ancestors, not just in this life, but previous lives, I'll give you an example because I went through a really strong meditation the other day and I cleared pain from 2 of my lives, and I can't even tell you how freeing that was on my soul. How freeing that felt at a cellular level. I feel like I dropped like 5 pounds from learning this information, this wisdom about who my soul has been, who my soul has transitioned through many lifetimes. And it's enlightening and it's emotional and it's painful, but it's releasing. And I literally let go of 2 big chains. Do you ever often wonder why you feel claustrophobic in this life, but you've never really been in a position where somebody did something to make you feel those emotions, to make you feel that anxiety. Well, I'm claustrophobic. I don't like to be in small spaces. I don't like to be in crowded events. I don't like it. I feel out of control. I don't feel like I have control of my environment. You see, we're all meant to feel balance of some type in our life, some sort of equilibrium based on your soul. But we're all chained to these things that aren't allowing us to be free, truly free-spirited, co-creating beings of love and light. And I know that sounds so, woo, fairy-like, but truly, as I break these chains, I get to feel more love, not just for myself, but I can feel more love for others because I've let go of this dark energy that was sitting on my soul. So the other day when I was meditating, I realized when I was a little girl, we had a chest that our toys were in. And I think I was playing inside of it, and I don't know if it was my brother and my sister, but they locked me in that toy box, and I was screaming and I was trying to push up, and I could feel the rushing emotions of not being in control of my life, like not being at the mercy of somebody else, being at the mercy of a chain, being at the mercy of my debt, being at the mercy of somebody else to let me out of this toy box. And then right after that, I was shown a vision of me in a coffin, but I was alive, and I was a pregnant mother coming in through the Underground Railroad from the US to Canada. And I had to be quiet, and they put me back in that coffin, and they wanted me to know that I was always safe. I was always safe, and if I just slowed down my breathing, I would just be safe. And then I felt such peace come over my life, because now I understand why I don't like to be cornered by anyone. Oh yeah, you don't corner me, because it's not gonna go your way every single time. I don't like to be forced in a box. I don't like to be forced to do anything. My soul hates to be forced. And I carry this feeling literally here. It's like, I can't speak. I can't breathe. And I just feel so wretched. But you know what? When you start going inside yourself and learning these things about yourself, you're not afraid to feel your pain. You're not afraid to release your pain. And understand that there are things that stop you and block you in your life, and they don't make sense to you because they're not from this life. It doesn't matter what it is. If the experience did not evolve in this life, but you're just reminded in this life when you go into those situations, then you might want to just slow down a moment and let yourself feel into that feeling. When you feel it, when you step into an elevator and it gets crowded full of people, I want you to take a moment and remind yourself that you're safe, and breathe. I am safe. And I want you to release the anxiety, but I want you to feel the anxiety. And I want you to start recognizing where this comes from. You know, did something happen in this life that gives you that feeling of not being in control, feeling forced, feeling chained, feeling like you don't want to move. You just want to stop. You just want to be in avoidance. You want to avoid it because it doesn't feel good, right? So we avoid things. Things that don't feel good, we avoid them. But we can't live in avoidance anymore. It doesn't mean you stay in those things or stay with those people or stay in those jobs, but we just don't avoid this feeling. This feeling is affecting your chakra, your life force energy. Your anxieties from how you might have died in other lives are affecting you in this life. Or some trauma that you had in another life. You know, I learned sometimes that birthmarks are sometimes wounds, physical wounds we had in other lives. So in this life, the wound is not there, but the birthmark is there to send this life a message of who you were in another life and how that affects you in this life. We must start feeling into our pain, start recognizing our chains, start recognizing the things that do not make our body feel good. As I sit here and I talk about this, I bring up feelings of all the things I did in my life that I thought I had to do for money, for friends, for family. No, all I needed to do is heal me, be me, love me, and everything else around me would start to change. When I started recognizing my chains, I started, okay, how do I release this chain? Because this chain is a source of income. And I want to talk about that because most of us are chained to our jobs, chained to our debt, chained to the feeling of needing. And when we need something, it's a low vibrational energy. When we need something, that very thing we repel out of our life because everything is energy. When you start understanding that everything is energy, the shitty feelings inside you are energy and all you have to do is release them, poof, poof. It starts to get easier. It starts to get easier. Treat it like a video game. Ew, I feel into this feeling. Okay, what is this feeling telling me? Okay, this is interesting. Sometimes I write it down, sometimes I just feel through the process. Okay, emotions are coming up. I'm not blocking them. I'm allowing the flow of energy to be released from me. My body wants to cry. I allow it to cry. I allow myself to feel every bit of the emotion and pain like it just happened right this second in my life. Just like when they took me back to that coffin, it was like it was my life right now. I was there. I was scared. I was scared for my baby. I was scared for my life. I was scared that I would never have a better life for my baby and for myself. And then I breathed. I breathed and I practiced my breath, feeling closed in this coffin. Literally, it was just a pine box. I practiced silencing my body. I Practice breathing, but quietly. I took back control of my situation because for me and my baby, this was our future. This was our freedom. Nobody was gonna take that away from me. So I got quiet. And I breathed. And I silenced myself for the time I had to silence. I didn't have water. I didn't have food. But I held on to my faith and my strength, and I made it through, and I lived. I broke through the chains in that life. And just as that meditation showed me this week, that I haven't broken all my chains. I haven't. And that's okay. Because you know what? I'm too less chained. And that was a brick sitting on my chest. It was a brick every time I went out in public, whenever I went out in a space of a lot of people. Whenever I went out or had to get in an elevator that I wasn't in by myself. When I wasn't trying to get out of the elevator while people are rushing in at me. Well, I had people cornering me and forcing me to make decisions on not my own time. When I had jobs that never treated me for the value I gave. And it was not about the money because I chose to walk that path for that dollar. But more the appreciation of service. I gave 100%, 200%. I gave my all to all of my jobs. With every job I had, I became the job. I embodied the job. I became the best at that job. But I decided I don't need other people's validation in my life. Because I know the chains that I've broken. I recognize the evil in my life. I recognize the illusions that the world surrounds me. And I became a chain breaker. I refused to live in the programming of my grandparents or my parents. I chose that their life is not my life. My decisions are my decisions. And how I act and be in this world needs to be my fullest, truest, authentic self. Because I can't walk around in life hanging on to this shit anymore. I cannot put myself in the energy of people who don't appreciate my love, my knowledge, my wisdom. I don't put myself in companies that don't honor and acknowledge my gifts, my service, my talents. Instead, there are other people taking credit for my work. But you know what? I sit back and laugh because you know why? I know who I am. I know my power. I know my worth. And I release and let go of every chain that holds me back now. I let go of every friend, foe, enemy who pretended to be my friend, to be in my energy. I let go of those people. I let go of family that just tried to smother me, block me from my gifts, block me from my abilities, block me from my birthright. You hear me, my birthright. We all have a birthright, but we must learn the lessons of our life, and we must start releasing the chains. And I know a lot of people are feeling the heaviness of their own spirit right now, because I feel it. I feel it for myself, and I feel it for the world. I know people are recognizing their chains. They recognize their habitual habits that keep them in this roller coaster hamster cycle of their life. I know people are starting to wake up to the people that surround them, that are just spilling ill, ugly hate in their life, because they see their light. They see that they could be greatness. They see that there is so much more that they could have, but instead they want to just continue shitting on their friend's life. Doing this makes me dizzy, and I'll tell you why, because you're all feeling dizzy right now. You're all looking at your life. No matter what has transpired over the last 3 years, you're all waking up to something. And only you know what you're waking up to every morning of your day. Do you wake up feeling happy right from the get-go? Because I know I wasn't. It was a struggle to get out of bed. I felt like shit. I would sleep but feel tired and exhausted. I would dread going to my job feeling like dog shit, surrounded by dog shit. Sorry I'm being so blunt, but I think that these messages are really meant for you guys to feel my emotion, to feel my pain about my life, because I know I'm not the only one out there going through this. I know we're all going through this. It's just the level of which we are going through this. You know, because some of us have built bigger sand castles. And sand isn't really a great thing to build castles with, you know. You've seen at the beach. The water just slaps those things, puts a big dent in the castle. You know, a big chunk. Or it might even get blown away by the wind. Or some kid might come along and just stomp on your castle because he's an asshole. So the bigger the sandcastle you've built in your life, the harder you're gonna fall right now. And it is okay. And I'll tell you why it's okay. Because it's time for us to stop living illusions, stop living in illusions, stop pretending you have money when you don't, stop pretending that you're better than the people that are around you, stop pretending that the people around you are better than you. Stop pretending that what you see is reality, because it's not. And the truly happy people have less, have simpler lives, because they are living a heart space life. They know that if they can just be of service, even there's no direct, it's all energy. You give energy, energy comes back to you. You know, I recently learned a few new modalities, and I've been, you know, offering complimentary services. So also someone could experience such a unique experience for themselves that they they would take away so much about themselves just in 1 hour session from me. They would learn so much about the inside of themselves. But we don't allow ourselves to just be, right? Because we get up, the alarm goes off, we get up, we brush our teeth, we go downstairs, we start making breakfast, and before you know it, your life is in Groundhog Day every day. You think it changes. Oh, different party, different people. No, it's the same shit. It's the same bullshit that you surround yourself from. The same empty people, because they're not feeling into your life either. Their life either. Right? I feel very at peace right now because I've released this message that has been plaguing me all morning. Also, I released something in my life today that was no longer serving me at my best. And I truly wish this something a blessing, because it was a blessing in my time, in my life at the moment. But I have to recognize when things in my life don't feel good anymore, so I can break that chain faster, right? It's like you take on a new job and it's good right now, it's serving a point in your life, but then 5 years goes by and you're not happy at that job. You're just another cog in the wheel, another punch ticket in the puncher, punching in, punching out. Does that fulfill you? Punching in, punching out? Because if it doesn't, now's the time to recognize that feeling in your body and start asking yourself, how do you really want to live? What would your ideal day look like? Right? And how could your ideal day turn into serving other people where you're co-creating around you? And then you bring in this energy of wealth for yourself to take care of your home, take care of your family. Man, as I speak this energy, it feels so freeing to me to be able to wake up at my pace, the way my soul needs to wake up. Because I tell you, my soul has seen and been through so many lives. It just can't wake up on a dime anymore. It needs love and compassion every morning. She's telling me, are we gonna keep living this way? Because I can't do it. The inside of me is telling me I can't live this way anymore. We're breaking our own spirits for what? For debt? To have a big glorious car that you drive 1 or 2 days a week? Let's just laugh, It's time for us to be more conscious, to live more consciously, to be more conscious about our body. I haven't eaten yet today. I don't even know what time it is, because I'm so conscious to my body. I know when it's asking me for food and when I'm just trying to fulfill the program that's running. I don't fulfill programs anymore. I break those damn chains. And I want you to all know you can do it too. You can surround yourself by the things that you love. You can find passion through the things that you love to do and try to turn that into making wealth for yourself, but a wealth that comes through joy and happiness. And you know what? There's been certain souls that have been sent into my life to show me that I'm living it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. All these years, I've been living life wrong, a little bit wrong, because I wasn't working through the chains. Well, I was, but I think I had so many chains in this lifetime that I've been working through chains since the day I landed on Earth. The thing is, I wasn't recognizing the chains of my life previously, and now my awareness to the chains of my life are so blatant in my face that I can't even leave the house because I fucking just feel wretched. I feel wretched because my vibrational energy cannot go that low anymore. When you start feeling that wretched feeling to something, and I know you know the feeling, wretched is wretched. You could walk past someone and feel wretched energy. You don't know why, because you don't know them. You just felt wretched energy. Trust what you feel. Your mind will want to run a logical program on your mind, okay? But we're spiritual beings living in a human body. Our spiritual self is fighting against our human logical self, let's just say that. So we need to find balance with spiritual self and human self. Find balance with knowing that you have the ability to attract things into your life. And when you start feeling this wretched feeling, because it's the same sort of feeling you feel when you're hanging on to something, right? And I'll say this for the women and men in relationships. How many times have we hung on to a relationship because we were feeding our ego? Your body felt wretched. It didn't want to be there, but you were feeding this. You were living in your ego. So for you to break off with this person, especially if on paper they looked good, or they were good looking, they drove a nice car, they had a good job, but they were assholes. They were shitty people. But your ego kept you in those situations. Your ego wouldn't let go. But your body, man, it felt it every time you hung around that person or were in their energy, you know? You'd even get signs like you'd be at a restaurant and all of a sudden the person is just freaking out, acting out, like complaining about their food in an ignorant way. That was a message to say you're out of alignment with this person. But you weren't listening because you're running your life on ego. You stop running your life through your ego, you feel into your body. Your body decides where you're gonna go in life, right? If you're gonna walk around in this life feeling wretched, I'm hanging around these people, I want to hang around them because they do the things I like to do, but you don't feel good hanging around them, that doesn't even make sense. Because you're not gonna act in your true authentic self when you're hanging around people that don't make you feel good. Or you're going to a job that doesn't make you feel good. How can you be in your true authentic self if you feel like dog shit? I know, I wasn't living in my true authentic self always. Because I was running on my chains. I was living through the chains of my life by being strapped to jobs that no longer felt good because I had a need for money to fulfill in my life. But that very need was a neediness, which kept me in that shitty job, right? But the moment I let go of those jobs, other opportunities popped up that were more in alignment with my soul, more in alignment with my body. So I don't hang on to chains anymore. And when I start to feel that wretchedness, I know it's time to go. And I know that I have to pretty much give my notice to anything that feels bad like that at that moment, because if not, I hang on to things and I hang on to things and then I just cut it. because I've stayed too long in that energy. And that is a lesson that I am learning in my life, to cut things sooner, to cut things out of my life when they start to feel a little bit wretched, a little bit, anything that makes you feel not good. It's time to let go. And it's time for us to feel into our bodies and live in our true, authentic self. And I want you to breathe, because you're going to block yourself from doing it. You're going to block yourself from quitting a job. I've been blocking myself from quitting a job for the last year. I've stayed at this job a whole year longer than I should have. And I knew a year ago. I knew when I started feeling wretched, not wanting to get out of bed, not feeling myself, forcing myself to do things that don't feel good. No more. I want everyone to take what they get from the message, but first of all, I really hope that you start honoring how you feel. This message is about honoring how we feel. However you feel about me saying chained to the debt, chained to society, chained to whatever, we're all chained. Let's get it straight. We just can't see our chains, but we fucking damn well can feel them. So don't be offended at me, because I'm speaking truth bombs right now into your life. I want you to honor and know that all of this message comes with very good, heartfelt intent, because I don't want anyone to feel like they're living through chains. Chains of a marriage, chains of friendship, chains of a job, chained family. Why should we keep putting ourselves into energies that doesn't make us feel good? That makes no sense. We're not inspiring ourselves. If we don't feel good at a whole core level, how are you going to go out and be the best person that you can be out there? No, I remember those days. I would go out and I'd have to hold my tongue back because I know I was speaking from my shadow side. I know that I wasn't ready to give up my chains. So I needed to keep my mouth shut because I knew I wasn't releasing those chains. Oh no, I kept chaining myself. I would lose one set of chains, chain myself to another job. Release that, no more. I only spend time in energy that makes me feel good. And I want that for you too. I have spent my whole life in energies that didn't make me feel good. And you know what? For the longest time in my life, I didn't know why I had so many chains, but I know now why. Because my purpose in this life is huge, and so is yours. So let's break our chains and wake up to our spiritual selves, because you will start attracting instead of needing. And when you start attracting, you let go of anything that doesn't feel good anymore, because you'll recognize that feeling faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, to the point where you're like, zap, 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 zap. Thank you, Spirit, for blessing my life. Because we get blessed when we recognize our lessons, when we recognize our chains, when we recognize we're not living in our true, authentic self. Our true, authentic selves, we're supposed to be able to just be if we wanted to be. We were supposed to be co-creating in wealth and abundance for everyone, not just one greedy person. The whole point of abundance and wealth energy is to co-create it for everyone. It was always meant for everyone, not 2% of the world. I'm sorry, but 2% of the world has been stealing your birthright because you're too afraid to break your chains and collect what's your birthright. Are you going to continue to allow companies operate under false pretenses? Are we going to continue to allow people to not live in their authentic self? Learning our shadow side and our light side, honoring our shadow side, honoring our light side, but we don't live here anymore. And we don't allow people to operate in the world in their shadow side anymore. Because there's so much wealth and abundance that we could all live good, peaceful, abundant, being givers of service, doing acts of service, co-creating more wealth, plentiful nature, plentiful food. That's what Earth was supposed to be, not this, oh, I got a bunch of humans strapped to their chains. No, man, break free. I know you're feeling it. I send you all love and compassion, and most of all, I send you courage. I send you strength. I send you awareness for breaking through your chains and stepping into your true authentic self. Peace be with us all now.